Imagine working 18 hours a day, sleeping just for 4 hours, and still being told your work isn't good enough. Welcome to the life of a mangaka. As popular as the medium of anime has gotten over the past 10 years, the industry has never been bigger and is still continuing to show substantial growth and, as the young people say, motion every single year. Fans all over the world have something for them each season to digest and discuss amongst their various fandoms, and the anime industry is racking up an absolutely disgusting amount of money. Go see my video on the horrifying reality of Japanese animators for a bit more of a deep dive on that particular topic. Banger video, I must say. But throughout all the highs that the manga and anime industry have, there is a very large component that I personally feel gets taken advantage of all too often in the entertainment sector, and that is the authors themselves. The manga industry is notoriously competitive, on top of the massive amounts of stress being a professional artist in general. I know many different artists who pour their all into their respective pieces for it to not only not get the recognition it deserves, but you do see tons of artists being hypercritical of themselves, even though to someone like me it looks absolutely astounding. As we go through this video, we're going to take a look at some of the dark truths that these authors have to live through on a daily basis during serialization of their own series. It's your boy Daffy. Please make sure y'all leave a like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's jump right in. The most popular manga in the world at the current moment tend to be weekly works, with a good amount of manga being released monthly. Monthly manga tend to range from 40 to 50 pages a month, and weekly manga tend to be 19 to 18 pages a week. Now for fans, this is great! They have a consistent source of entertainment to consume, and just like a regular visual medium, it's exciting to look forward to every Sunday when your favorite action manga comes in. The fans are eating, but for the authors themselves, these weeks can be f***ing excruciating. Take a look at Masashi Kishimoto's schedule during Naruto serialization. From Monday to Thursday, starting at 12 a.m., sketching, inking, and rough drafts continue until 6 a.m. From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., there is a short period for sleep and nap time. Then, work kicks back up around 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Lunchtime lasts for about an hour. Then work continues until 11 p.m. at night. Then it starts all over again at 12 a.m. If you want a breakdown of this in the exact time for the Monday to Thursday schedule, there is roughly 18 to 19 hours of the day spent working. Like, I'd be absolutely gassed after a 12-hour shift, so the idea that you should put in 111 hours for a magazine a week that doesn't really give a f*** about you and only wants your product is absolutely f***ing tragic. Assuming that he sleeps on Sunday, Kishimoto is able to get 8 hours of sleep on that day, but in a week, we can project that Kishimoto was getting 32 hours of sleep a week, and medical professionals recommend that you should get at the bare minimum 49 hours of sleep in a week. The Harvard Medical School Division of Sleep Medicine talks about the effects of sleep deprivation in a conducted study. Skip to this point in the video on screen if you would like to jump forward past the research and results found in this study. Several studies have linked insufficient sleep and weight gain. For example, studies have shown that people who habitually sleep less than 6 hours per night are much more likely to have a higher than average body mass index (BMI), and that people who sleep 8 hours have the lowest BMI. Sleep is now being seen as a potential risk factor for obesity, along with the two most commonly identified risk factors: lack of exercise and overeating. Research into the mechanisms involved in regulating metabolism and appetite are beginning to explain what the connection between sleep and obesity might be. Jumping forward, researchers have found that insufficient sleep may lead to type 2 diabetes by influencing the way the body processes glucose, the high-energy carbohydrate that cells use for fuel. One short-term sleep restriction study found that a group of healthy subjects who had their sleep cut back from 8 to 4 hours per night processed glucose more slowly than they did when they were permitted to sleep 12 hours. Numerous epidemiological studies have also revealed that adults who usually slept less than 5 hours per night have a greatly increased risk of having or developing diabetes. Studies have found that a single night of inadequate sleep in people who have existing hypertension can cause elevated blood pressure throughout the following day. This effect may begin to explain the correlation between poor sleep and cardiovascular disease and stroke. For example, one study found that sleeping too little, less than 6 hours, or too much, more than 9 hours, increased the risk of coronary heart disease in women. Given that a single sleepless night can cause people to be irritable and moody the following day, it is conceivable that chronic insufficient sleep may lead to long-term mood disorders. Chronic sleep issues have been correlated with depression, anxiety, and mental distress. In one study, subjects who slept 4.5 hours per night reported feeling more stressed, sad, angry, and mentally exhausted. It is natural for people to go to bed when they are sick. Substances produced by the immune system to help fight infection also can cause fatigue. One theory proposes that the immune system evolved sleepiness-inducing factors because inactivity and sleep provided an advantage. Those who slept more when faced with an infection were better able to fight that infection than those who slept less. Considering the many potential adverse health effects of insufficient sleep, it is not surprising that poor sleep is associated with lower life expectancy. Data from 3 large cross-sectional epidemiological studies revealed that sleeping 5 hours or less per night increases mortality risk from all causes by roughly 15%. Sleep deprivation is a silent wrecking ball in your body, and that largely goes unnoticed by people. And this man was doing this for almost 2 decades. And he surely isn't the only one doing this. This is an industry norm. Creative burnout is something that these authors can be susceptible to as well. Having to consistently be creative and keep the audience's attention is a monumentous task, especially with how fickle and irregular audiences' minds can be regarding a story. I mean, just look at Jujutsu Kaisen fans' slander of Gege compared from a year ago to now. Isolation with these long hours means that besides editors and assistants, social interactions aren't necessarily regular like they would be for yourself and me. Now, you do have some mangakas such as Oda, Kubo, or even Hirokoshi talking about meeting up with other authors and hanging out, but these are few and far between from what we know. Now, one would think all the authors of these works are raking in dough from their properties they worked so hard for, and unfortunately, I got bad news for you. Newer artists are paid typically 3,000 to 8,000 yen per page, which is around $20 per page to around $53.36 per page. So if they publish weekly throughout the year, they're earning $51,000 to $60,000 per year for newer authors. An average salary in Japan varies from region to region, but the average yearly salary in Japan is 4.5 million yen, which translates to about $30,000. Just for reference, people in the US, generally speaking, have better living conditions because they earn more than Japanese people. Although considering us in the US are currently in a bullet train heading towards a big fat recession, we'll see how long that lasts for. So newer authors can do decently, but is it worth the mental and physical stress attached to the practice? I mean, me personally, no! But that is up to your own discretion. Many mangakas earn a good bulk of money from volume sales, which they could receive up to 10% from merchandise or anime deals. Note, these are assuming you are successful. If your work isn't necessarily getting off the ground running or doesn't have a consistent fan base, you're in despair, brother. I'm sorry. Editorial pressure can be nothing short of crushing as well. Consider the fact that you can pour your all into a project. You think you're feeding the streets, think you're cooking up a 5-star meal. Then you gotta look at your projected numbers and rankings just like this. I must wonder what it feels like. I must imagine it doesn't feel good, huh? It probably fucking sucks! Moral of the story, don't do anything content creation-wise if you aren't prepared to have your heart broken, ladies and gentlemen. That just PSA. Editorial can have a tremendous influence on a story, and Weekly Shonen Jump is notorious for how hard their editors crack down their authors sometimes. Bleach's 1,000-Year Blood War is one of the most notorious examples of this. Kubo's health was declining steadily, but his editors told him to wrap that shit up and meet the deadline that they gave him. Kubo has gone on record in an interview saying, "I had to cut 10 chapters worth of material. I just couldn't physically keep up anymore." And Kubo actually wanted to explore more fights and resolve things his way, but things had to be resolved off screen to make it to the deadline properly. Thankfully, the anime adaptation is resolving this issue, even though I've made it abundantly clear that the 1,000-Year Blood War still is not my favorite thing in Bleach, but I'm glad that Kubo is able to actually have his vision come to fruition. Something that a lot of people didn't know as well is that Masashi Kishimoto did not want to drag out the 4th Great Ninja War for as long as he did. Kaguya's introduction was pushed from editorial. This man had zero plans to introduce her into the story until Shonen Jump put that hand on his shoulder and told him, "Hey, you better stall this motherfucker, bro. You making us way too much money, playboy." L's death from Death Note was originally supposed to be the ending of Death Note, but the same exact thing happened. Jump pushed Obata to extend the series, and the creator has gone on record saying the series might have been stronger if it ended with L's death. Editorial interjection can obliterate the original spirit of the author's vision, but on the other hand, it could be a useful asset. With the Shibuya incident, Gege's editor actually pushed him to include the cute chapter of Nobara trying to hook up Yuji with Ozawa before getting to the series equivalent of the war arc with Shibuya. This downtime was needed, and honestly, I do wish we had more moments of these in JJK, especially Jujutsu Sanpo in the first season. Sanpo will possibly return in season 3 as the Killing Games are a bit lighter in tone compared to Shibuya, so we will see. But for now, that's enough from me. Let's dive into what the creative experience is really like for some people in the field. For the next portion of this video, I wanted to get the perspective and accounts of an artist and an author in the field and see if they can shine any new light on the day-to-day of being in the visual medium of manga and comics. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce indie comics writer ChristStyle and artist Ash Kohari, a duo who are working on upcoming sci-fi kaiju epic Jazz, Juggernauts Against Zealous Zealots, as well as Dream Match Revolution, and Ash's own personal project, 9mm Girls.
Hey, what's up, good people of YouTube? Just want to take this small time to thank Daffy for having us on the show. And if you don't know who we are, my name is Chris from ChristStyle Inc., and I'm a writer, and I'm joined by
Ash. Thanks, Daffy, for having me as well. And I'm the creator of 9mm Girls, and I'm also part of the duo SK6. We do manga. And I'm also the artist of Dream Match Revolution, Jazz, and probably other projects to come.
I have been self-published over the last 3 years. I got my start. I was a indie video game writer for a very, very small indie game company that has since went under. It was my friends. And when the company went under, I didn't like all of our stories, so I kind of just sit in the in the back. So I decided to take them, twist them around, see if I could use them, and I used them, and that's kind of where I'm at. So it's just I started off doing one thing, didn't realize that I would have way more fun and a lot more success doing it in this other way, which is now comics.
Calling myself really like comic artist or mangaka. On a professional level, I would say between 6 and 7 years. Really doing that. Before that, it was just one page here every 2 weeks, which I would not call that professional, but just a hobbyist. Yeah, so 7 to 6 years.
Which is longer than me. I've learned a lot about the writing process, about how to structure your stories towards an audience. And with that being said, I also understood over time how audience retention works. You can't just make stories that you think you want to see just because they seem cool in your head. You kind of have to have an audience in your mind, or you at least want to have a reader base set or a target that you are creating for. So you kind of want to go in that route. And so far, most of the people that I have been beneficial to have support us have been very appreciative. A lot have been extremely vocal about how we do things, and we don't have a bunch of I want to see more of this, I want to see more of that. We have people that are actually like, hey, I love this, I can't wait to see this branch out. Or I've had some that have been like, I don't like how it's going, but hopefully over time it'll turn to something else. So it's been like that for me.
I don't think there is a biggest thing I learned, because to me I just learn on the spot absolutely everything concerning manga on an artist standpoint and writer standpoint. I started as just because I wanted to tell a story. I had no idea how at that time, so I was just doing, and I started to realize that there was rules that needs to be followed in terms of writing and in terms of art. And I've been having people that have been following me since then. Since I have fan, like die-hard fan that are behind me since like 10 years. And they saw me starting project, abandoning project, starting again, having that project again, and they're still there. They are still behind me, cheering me on those stories I've been telling. They're not a lot. I would say maybe there's like 10 people that I can really say that they are die-hard fan, and I'm sure they will be following no matter what I do. So I'm really grateful for those people, because I know that at least there is 10 people that are reading my stories, right? But as for the biggest thing that I learned doing the work is that if you don't put your story out there, no one else is gonna do it. So it's your role as an individual with your own ideas and optics and point of view of life to put your story out there, even if you feel it's stupid.
And as one of the 10 of the biggest supporters of Ash and SK6, I have a have a great time reading and enjoying everything that comes out. Easily trying to figure out target. It's not so black and white as it appears. People tell you to write things for an audience, but audiences are so not like needy, but they have other aspects of where they can get what they want. So you are in a constant battle, which can be frustrating. So you really it's just really about like finding like the right people who want what you create. With all the multiple avenues online, that's kind of hard and frustrating, but like once you find it just gets so much easier.
All right, so I think I have to agree with you, and finding your target, it's kind of hard to do, but I think for me it's really trying to find the time to work on your project. I'm a teacher, I'm a freelance artist, as you know. I work for Chris. I will have soon another freelance project, and so I have to juggle between 3 to 4 jobs, and then find time for my own project and go to the gym and clean the house and do the food and take care of the cats, adult life. So sometimes that's the most difficult part for me, because I would like my project to go faster, but I can't. I am at full capacity here, and I can't do more, and that's hard to accept the fact that I can't do more. I wish I could, but I can't. So it's very frustrating, because I wish that story would go faster, so people would be like waiting for those chapters about it. And after, for the target, well, it's an hard topic, because you have, if you want to sell on internet or if you want to sell on convention. So I see that in convention is easier to sell than online. So that's what's the word? Define. If you want to sell online, if you want to sell outside, 2 different techniques, 2 different tactics, and 2 different type of people.
Hands down, Dream Match Revolution is my favorite. It's something that I wish I would have went like off the back foot first on, but it's like a love letter to myself and to many people that were in my position about being a bridge for other people to cross, and not really realizing that you don't need to be a bridge for people in lieu of your own passion and your own dreams. As we are recording that's my favorite one. Now ask me again at the end of this year, I might have a different answer, but Dream Match for sure.
For me, I would say the latest chapter of 9. I mean, just because every chapter I do, they're all the time better. Like I see progression no matter what. So ask me this question every time, I will tell you the latest chapter, because I can see progression. I can see the story finally fleshing out. Since it's a slow burn story, we're finally getting into the meat of the story. And drawing wise, it's better. Composition wise, it's better. So to me, latest chapter be the best. Improve absolutely everything. I want to improve everything as much as I can. I want to improve the expression of the characters. I want to improve my composition, my paneling. I feel like I'm always on a journey, and I don't think I don't think I will ever reach. It's a constant evolution that I'm trying to achieve and not be stagnating. That's kind of what I fear, to stagnate and to look at, for example, the chapter that I have behind me, the latest chapter, and see that there's no evolution. That would be very, very sad. So I think that's it. It's to be in a constant evolution for me on every point, story and art.
I think I might be on the very same answer. Whenever we finish a book, I will go through it digitally. I'll even thumb through it physically in my living room every now and then, and I'll look back and go, you know what? Maybe I could have done better on exposition, or you know what? That final point that I wanted to make, or that rising action, didn't really feel as impactful as it could have. So I'm always looking back to see what I can do different, and I can see the progression every time we do a new one, a new book. So it's just like, as you said, it's just something that just happens over time. If you're not writing to improve, you're just writing just to do it, and that's something that I can't see like any of us, you or me doing, or anybody who's worth their weight. So just proper improvements over time. What are some horror stories you have heard from your peers in the indie comics manga space?
I will let you start on that one.
If you let me start, I'm just gonna start going off.
All right.
No,
okay. I can do the intro and then you can go off.
I won't even go off. I'll make it slight.
Okay. Well, to me, I didn't hear it from peers on internet or what, because I don't talk to anyone besides Chris on internet. But I do have personal horror story where I completely lost a project. I signed a contract that I didn't properly checked, and basically the company is owning my project right now and 99 years after my death. So this project is just dead in the water and not mine anymore. I can do nothing with it, and they're not doing anything with it neither. And I love that story. I did so much work for that story. I did so much merge, and it led to nowhere. And right now it's just like in limbo because I didn't read properly the terms. So please, guys, if you're an artist or anyone in the artistic field, read your contract. That's really important.
I have a very short one because I just thought about what I just heard last week. There is a big influx in AI art going around from a lot of people who are not a part of the art industry, and then now recently there's been a lot of people that are in the art industry who are utilizing AI art in some kind of fashion. So I had a friend who was paying an artist to do pages for him for his manga, and over time, because this particular artist was very lazy, had really poor time management skills, and could not communicate any of this, he decided to try to use AI art as a fill-in for a lot of his art, and then over time he just started dropping just straight AI pages, and he's been paying for these pages, and he's almost finished with the whole book, and he just realized towards the end of his book that, oh wait, this whole thing is 100% AI. It goes from drawn from Clip Studio, and then it starts to go from traced over AI to just 100% AI. So fortunately for me, because people are like, hey, make sure that you vet your artists. I only work with two people, which is Ash and Vice, which is basically just SK6 as a whole. But if I were to venture out and for any reason to go look for another artist, I would have to vet them, and that's just kind of like a struggle where it's like, I don't want to do that, but I might. It's something that you have to when you get into this industry. So that's unfortunate, but yes, there's one goal that I hope to achieve, and it's this year. I write predominantly in action-orientated stories, and I've always wanted to jump away from the genre of shonen, and I didn't realize if I had to do something horror or something else, and I kind of figured that, you know what, I'm gonna do something I've never really got into as a kid and thought was like always boring. I'm gonna get into like a slice of life type like romance thing, and I hope to achieve a explosive reader base with it. And if not, it's something that I could just put down on my belt and go, I tried it. But I'm gonna go 100% on there. Then Ash, okay, there you go. Ash is back.
Yeah, I just want to make a noise while you were talking. For me, it's to have all my books of all the chapter of volume 1 on the table at convention, meaning like 8 books of 9mm girls, and all produced by me without the help of any publisher or what, just by crowdfunding and just local printer here where I live, and have them all on the table and have people to buy and come back for the next chapter every year. That's a long-term goal, but I will already have 2 books, chapter 1 and 2 this year. I'm hoping to print more, maybe by the end of the year or next year, and have them rolling with the crowdfunding.
Which we both utilize.
Yes.
I won't say outro. Oh, I just said outro. So once again, we want to thank Daffy for having us, and we hope that this Q&A has brought some form of either a educational output on what a indie artist, indie writer team looks like, or just to kind of get the steps of somebody who might be in our shoes to realize how close they are to what we do, or even more. So once again, thank you for that. If you would like to see more of us, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, everything under ChristStyle Inc. That is ChristStyle with the S being shared in the middle, INC. If you're on Instagram, it's ChristStyle_Inc. And if you want to find Ash is on my bio on Twitter. But if you don't want to go that far and want to go straight from here to Instagram or Twitter, she can tell you where to go find her.
Yeah, you can find me under the name Kohari Ash. It's basically my name, but first name first and then Ash. And I'm mainly on Instagram. I'm kind of taking a step back from Twitter mess. And if not, you can read my main project on Global Comics and all the other stuff I'm doing with my partner. We have a bunch of manga and comics, one-shots and long story, and they're all on Global or on our Patreon, SK6. And thank you, Daffy, for the questions. And well, I hope people take some information from that. But first, really read your contract and keep creating.
There you go. That's it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Huge shout out to ChristStyle and Ash Kohari for giving me their time, and please make sure to check out Jazz as well as their other works. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully this can give you, as well as myself, a better understanding of just how much effort goes into the production of comic books and manga. We've talked about how intense work schedules can physically affect these authors, but what about the mental toll? As previously mentioned, being a mangaka often means working in isolation for 60+ hours a week, and that's strongly associated with higher risk of depression and anxiety. According to Japan's Ministry of Health, 1 in 6 Japanese workers report severe psychological distress due to overwork. Japan has one of the highest suicide rates among developed nations, especially among men 20 to 40, a demographic many mangaka fall into. Yoshiro Togashi, the author of Hunter x Hunter, has gone on hiatus multiple times due to chronic physical and mental health issues. He's been quoted saying that he's been bedridden from stress-related back pain and depression, which is heartbreaking when you consider how much of a legendary impact his story has had. Kentaro Miura, the creator of Berserk, tragically passed away at age 54 from heart failure. While it's not our place to speculate, many have pointed out that years of intense, high-pressure workload may have contributed to his decline in health. A 2022 survey by Japan's Agency for Cultural Affairs found that 46.5% of creative workers reported feeling emotionally exhausted due to ongoing deadlines and pressure. But even with all of these harsh conditions, it raises a powerful question. Why do these mangaka keep going? And I would say it comes to 3 big reasons. Number 1, fan support. I know for myself personally, whenever I receive fan art or someone reaches out to say that they love something I created, it makes my entire week. Just the other day, someone recognized me in public for the first time, and I've been doing YouTube for 4 years. That's never happened to me before. My girlfriend was with me and she was so excited, and it made me want to keep going even harder. That kind of energy is fuel, and I'm sure it goes the same for a lot of manga authors. Number 2, the hope of success. While success isn't guaranteed, it's definitely motivating. When you look at someone like Oda, one of the most successful mangaka of all time, or the legendary legacy of Akira Toriyama, it's easy to see why a young artist would want to push themselves to the limit to leave their mark. For many of them, they're chasing more than fame. They're chasing immortality through their work. And number 3, the love of the game. This is arguably the biggest reason. Any rational person would look at these conditions and think, this is insane. I know I couldn't handle it, but for some of these authors, this isn't just a job, it's their calling. Even if a chapter isn't perfect or a story beat misses the mark, you can't deny the passion these artists pour into their work. They aren't just creators, they're people with something to say, and their manga is their way of saying it. At the end of the day, we consume these stories weekly, laughing, theorizing, hyping up panels, and sometimes even tearing them apart. But behind every splash page and every insane plot twist is a real human being grinding and putting their soul into something that we love. The life of mangaka is brutal. It's not glamorous. It's not easy, but for some of them, it's the only way they know how to live, with a pen in their hand and a story in their heart. So next time you read a chapter or watch an episode, take a second to appreciate the person behind the art. Maybe even send some love their way. A kind word goes farther than you think. If you vibe with this video, learn something new, or just feel a little more respect for your favorite creator, do me a favor. Like the video, comment your favorite mangaka, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I've got more deep dives like this coming soon, and trust me, you guys don't want to miss what's next. Until then, it's Big Boy Daffy, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. Make sure you guys stay safe, stay creative, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.